a warmish day, sort of spring-like weather-ish, getting there. I have to walk to soccer as my car's broken drive shaft. No matter, I had a little chance to read some Plato before I left and had a nice breakfast. But regarding Plato, I was reading a dialogue about Socrates just prior to his death, when he's talking, about what might await him in his afterlife. But generally, they bring up the good, the true, and the beautiful again, those sorts of things. And it got me thinking about quadratic development. And love, in particular. So what I'm going to argue for here is how interobjectivity may actually relate to a kind of love. I'm going to define that exactly, and why maybe to most minds it's been kind of woo-woo, especially when you take it very rationally. So I'm gonna play with that a little bit and what I mean by that connection. But just to quickly reiterate, my views on quadratic development, I'm using the Wilberian model of subjectivity, intersubjectivity, objectivity, and interobjectivity, 4 quadrants. And subjectivity is beautiful, intersubjectivity is the good, objectivity is the true, and then there's kind of a place marker for interobjectivity, because I believe in my model that's highly connected to Wilber's model is that it's emerging in a sense. I mean, it actually isn't overly defined, however, it's always ever present. There's always an interobjective sort of reality in a sense, but our subjectivity has not really been deeply bound to it in the way that it has been to the subjectivity proper, intersubjectivity, and objectivity. Because what I mean by that is that like, for example, I experience beauty just by having a perception, just by having a perception rather. And by being a perceiving being, I'm in relation with others, which is roughly the good. And then by analyzing it, I'm being objective. So my beingness in the world sort of encapsulates those 3 quite deeply, and it's just emerging to sort of encapsulate interobjectivity at this time. But I think my belief is, and it's becoming stronger, that the deeper element of interobjectivity will be something like a distant relationship with others, a felt sense connection of your objective being energetically tied to one another in some sense. And so, this gets me to love. If you can sort of touch another being across distances through using your objective mind sort of to kind of imagine that other being, there's sort of this open-heartedness to it, maybe, and that you're bringing that energy in through your being and sort of cycling it, and that's, but you're reaching out to the other. So there's this kind of you know, they have an objective reality. You have an objective reality that cycles through your subjectivity, your intersubjectivity because you're connecting with the other, your objectivity because you're imagining the other. But now, the relationship between the two objects is, in a sense, partly determined by your subjective experience. And so that's like a manifestation of love, maybe, in a conscientious state. So, you know, the poets of the past would have sort of, you know, maybe actually got quite deep into this, but, you know, they would be forerunners of it. And now we're bringing it down into more of a reality that it can be experienced by, you know, more people. And so, you know, when Plato and Socrates were talking about the truth, they were in a sense bringing down proper objectivity into the world. Sort of the height of what it meant to be a rational being. I think we're on the cusp of now bringing down maybe what it means to be interobjective. And this has a wee space characteristic to it that the objective mind doesn't really, right? Because it's more of an autonomous element. Being objective, you are a individuated, witnessing being, where this has more of the interobjective, it's more of a co-creative autonomy that is through groups of beings. We are collectively analyzing objects, sort of, where the object is an emotional, an energetic sort of state almost. That's about as far as my reasons are going to go on this today, I think. Anyway, cool. Blessings.